Are you tired of wanting to manifest but not really knowing how to get to the next level? I've been there and I'm here to give you three things that could be blocking your manifestations. And these are not just things from a person that has not achieved anything. I want to share a little bit more about my story because I think that the only way that we actually like to learn from certain people is if we like them based off their energy and if we can relate to their story. So, if you have a story, anything geared around, I'm too busy, I'm a mom, I have a bunch of things on my plate. Maybe you grew up with a bunch of internal trauma as you were growing up. You have all these stories that are constantly keeping you from really achieving the next level. I want to share with you how to shed some light on those parts of your journey and really help you reframe everything so that you can manifest a life that is worth you waking up excited about. Excited because you get to create the life of your dreams. It is Monday right now. And I am recording this video when a few years ago I would have been stuck at work doing all the things that I hated to do around people that were not conducive to my energy, that were simply taking, and quite frankly, it was keeping me in a lower vibration that I did not feel like I was growing from. So, if you stick around until the end, I'm going to share with you some techniques that have really helped me in manifesting my first six figures, how I was able to grow that past its six figures, how I've been able to really just get better clarity on the things that were keeping me in the energy that was not serving me. And we're going to get started with some things that I actually learned from Napoleon Hill's book, the Think and Grow Rich book. And I'm sure you have probably heard about it. So if you haven't read it yet, you're definitely going to get some new insights here. And if you have read it already, I hope that you can share down below some of your insights because the whole point for this community is to really grow with one another, is to learn from your experiences, learn from my experiences, and continue to really curate a environment that is healthy for us and that really feels exciting to be part of because we're learning and we're growing with one another. No animosity here, no hate here, just love. And again, pushing us to the best of our abilities in the best way that we can. So, all big sister love. Okay. So, let's get into it. The first thing I want to start off with is the indecision is actually keeping you from manifesting the next level of you that you are designed to create. And what do I mean by this? Well, something that I have noticed that I struggled with a lot was making decisions. And if I'm being totally honest with you, as of recently, I've gone through that again. I know why it's happening, so this is why I wanted to share it with you. But a lot of the times, the reason why we experience indecisions, it's because of paralysis analysis. We're so consumed with trying to make everything perfect that we end up not doing anything at all. And I am telling you, the reason why I have been able to scale my business past where it's been and where it continues to grow is because I was so comfortable just taking imperfect action. And it's so crazy to me how it is true. The less you know when you're ignorant to a certain subject, one of my mentors taught me this, you're going to actually be a lot more successful, even though you might think the person that is more equipped and has more knowledge would actually be more successful. The difference is that the person that is ignorant to what really it is going to require out of you to get the outcome that you want is delusional. Like you're delusional and you're just like, oh, starting a new business? Yeah, like that's easy, just get started. Maybe you have some beliefs, that scare you, but for the most part, you don't really know how hard it is to start a business, so you're delusional about it. That's how I was when I first started in real estate. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of an example here in just a second, but I want to give you the opposite of this. A person that knows too much, right? Let's say this person knows everything about running a business. The moment in which I come to this person and I say, hey, I have this amazing opportunity for you. I think you would do great if you, became an investor in this company and collaborated with me. Chances are, because of everything that they've experienced, everything that they've seen in the business world, they're going to actually disagree. They're going to say, you know what? No, you don't have the margins I'm looking for. You don't have the collaborations that I'm looking for. You don't have the views that I'm looking for, whatever the case might be. And you might sit here and actually say, well, that's a pretty sound decision, Alexa. Like, why wouldn't you want to be prepared? Well, if you've watched the show Shark Tank, they talk a lot about it. And Kevin O'Leary gets a lot of hate, but honestly, I like him because I feel like he says things how they are sometimes. And one of the things that he was talking about was when you have these, there's a lot of things going through my head right now, but the first one I'm going to focus on is discerning between signal and noise is really important in this part of your journey. But furthermore, if let's say you go to one of these investors and you tell them, hey, I'm really interested in having you be part of my company and become an investor. If this person maybe doesn't have the following that the investor is looking for, they're going to say, hey, you know what? No, I'm going to pass. You don't have the margins I'm looking for. But a lot of these investors, like Kevin O'Leary, he will actually really invest in the person, not necessarily what has the person achieved. So if he likes the person based off what they're sharing, if he likes the person based off what their product is, even if they don't have the margins, in their mind, they already know this person is going to succeed. This is why, if you can just understand that your indecision is actually keeping you from achieving the next level of your manifestation, you are going to be so much further ahead than most of the people that don't even realize that. Like, for example, this channel. I know that when I first started the channel, the whole point behind starting the channel was just to share nuggets of wisdom that I've read about, that I've been coached through, and things that I've experienced in my life. Like, that was my main goal. Things that I have really learned to embody. And basically, embody means actually living like that, right? Not just talking about it, but what am I living from? I've seen my life change drastically. So I figured I'm going to share all my information with whoever is willing to pay attention. And at the end of the day, if there's anybody out there that were to sit here and look through a fine comb, right, and just like try to compare everything and say, okay, well, let me go ahead and look at Alexa's channel versus this other creator's channel, chances are, depending on where we are in the journey, this other creator might have better articulation skills, but because they're actually posting less, my channel might end up getting more exposure than this person that is taking a year to post the next video. And maybe they're amazing, they're great. But the thing about imperfect action is that the more that I do it, the more comfortable that I become doing it. It's like going up on stage. The first time you do it, you're super nervous. And the only way that you can actually build the muscle of confidence is by doing the thing. So making sure that you're very, very aware of how you're showing up in your day is super important. And a note that I shared here from the biggest takeaway from that indecision is that successful people make decisions quickly, yet they change them slowly. So keep that in mind the next time that you're looking to start a new project, that you're looking to hire your first assistant, that you're looking to start creating content. Just keep in mind that making a decision is the most important part of the journey in order for you to really move to the next step. Because if you don't make a decision, you get stuck in paralysis analysis, and the universe cannot give you anything when you're not certain of what it is that you even want. So definitely point number one here. Now, point number two that I want to share with you is actually two of them start to actually come together with one another. From the indecision, you start actually getting doubt because you haven't been able to really make a decision. You start doubting everything that you're thinking about. You start comparing yourself to the success of others. You start thinking, well, there's already another person that's online that is sharing these techniques and these tools. And what's the point of me doing it? Like, why should I even try? When you have that mentality, what you're actually telling yourself is that I don't trust you. I don't trust you to pull forward with this. And the person that it is the easiest to lose respect from and lose trust from is yourself. Because a lot of the times you tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm not going to hang out with that person. And the more that you tell yourself that that's what you're going to do, but yet you do the complete opposite, what you end up doing is that you start creating doubt. You're creating this indecision, paralysis analysis. You're mixing it up with your doubts now. And what that leads to is fear. And this is why it's the trifecta here. If you have indecision and you bleed it into your doubt, and now you bleed this into your fear that you're actually harnessing, all that's happening is it's the perfect breeding grounds for your unworthiness to show up, for your lack of commitment to show up, for your doubts to show up even further. And they keep you from manifesting the life that you know you're designed to manifest. Something that I also shared here with my notes on the doubt subject is faith is actually the antidote of doubt. What you believe in is what you're going to achieve. And this is something that personally you have to get comfortable practicing it. Like, I remember when I first got started in my manifestation journey, first of all, I didn't even know I was manifesting. That's the first thing I want to share. I just started thinking differently without really realizing that I was thinking differently. I was just so fed up with the life that I had that I was really willing to start looking for answers in any place that was willing to give me an answer. And that actually helped me start creating these new habits of questioning what was I believing in versus just believing in what people were telling me blindly. If you were to tell me, well, because you don't have any parents, and because you don't have, a business degree, you can't run a business, I would have believed you. But the thing is that I got very curious about why I was in the position in which I was at in my life. I decided I need to further understand myself. I need to further understand why it is that I continue to do the things that I am doing up to this point in my life, why it is that it feels like nothing is changing. And the one thing that was in common is that throughout my entire life, I kept telling myself the same things over and over and over again. Now, when I decided that I was no longer going to identify with that version of me anymore, and now I have these terminologies to use, but at that point, like I said, I didn't really know that I was vibrating at a lower frequency or that I was self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Bringing all of this chaos into my life. But when I finally started reading books, I started understanding what it is that I had created internally. And this is why I am so proud of you for actually watching videos like these. This is what I actually love to do in my spare time or even when I'm getting ready. I like to play things in the background, or I like to focus and actually like write down my notes, because this is how you really internalize the information. I could sit here and tell you how I changed my entire life, but if you don't actually internalize it, meaning you embody it, you're only going to be wasting your time. For me, I started doing that. I started embodying that information that I was learning about, which really allowed me to scale to the next level. So, for example, when I went to my first conference ever, which was a summit, I had never been to a summit before this. I was around 20 years old. I was in the life and health insurance industry. And I went to the first summit that was going to basically teach us more about scaling past our six figures. I remember at this time, I had never really seen people around me, like in close proximity, make money. Yes, I would see people that had money, like on, TV shows, and people that I went to school with that their moms and dads picked them up in really nice cars and had really nice clothes. But I didn't grow up with people that actually had that. So as I went to the summit, I remember that I saw people up on the stage that were talking about mindset. They were talking about how they had been able to change their entire life based off one decision. And that decision was how they chose to show up. And at that time, I didn't realize that that was self concept. Now I know what that is, but they chose to change their identity. This is why, when you can actually understand that everything you're looking to create already exists. This is why I'm so passionate about understanding this electromagnetic frequency that we carry around us. The more energy you feed into something negative, the more you're going to attract that into your life. The more you focus on the positive stuff of your life, the more your vibration is going to increase. Now, this is not to say that bad things or turbulent things are not going to happen. I would be lying to you if I said that, but it's how you manage them. recently my grandma went to the hospital, and that was a shitstorm, to say the least. It was not ideal. I didn't feel like I was performing at my best because I was really consumed by the thought of me thinking that she wasn't going to get better. They were telling us that she had this infection in her blood. She's 78 years old, and she has always been super active, and seeing her that day, not even knowing really where she was, being super disoriented, questioning me and asking me questions that I had already answered her, was really, really disheartening. And if you've ever gone through this, I'm sure you can relate to this, but I felt so consumed in that moment. And the one thing that I remembered is everything that I've learned, which is I cannot control the situation right now, but what I can control is my reaction to this situation. And I'm telling you, that is exactly what I did. I decided, you know what? I am going to focus on how I can show up for her. I am going to focus on my energy, because me giving all this energy unnecessarily and stressing out and overwhelming myself and thinking of all the worst case scenarios is not going to lead me to anything productive. So I decided to completely change the narrative, and I said, you know what? I am just going to focus on the fact that she's going to be okay. I am going to focus on the fact that everything is going to work out divinely by by the word of God, and that everything is going to happen exactly how it's supposed to. And I also remembered a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's teachings and Neville Goddard's teachings. And basically, it talks about the law of assumption. The law of assumption is really geared around you assuming that everything you're looking to bring into your reality is already done. Okay. So I just started picturing her in the house. I started picturing her here in the house. I started picturing her happy, doing the things that she's always done, taking care of us the way that she's always taken care of us, sending us love the way that she's always sent us love. And I was so happy when she finally got out of the hospital. Right now, it's been about 2 weeks now that she's been out, and she has slowly but surely got the strength back that she lost while being inside of the hospital. And this is why I tell you, you can't control the stuff that you're going to go through. You can, however, control your reaction to the things that you're going to go through. Everybody's going to go through things. That's just part of life. And you know what's crazy is that a lot of people talk about how they believe that by practicing energy, you're actually going to experience less turbulence in your life, like less stuff that's going to come up. And it's actually the opposite. Because you're becoming so aware, and because you're elevating your energy, and because you're working on yourself, you're actually going to go through more things. And this is something that can be scary to some people, because they're like, well, I really don't want to go through things anymore, Alexa. Like, I've had my fair share of stuff. Trust me, I hear you. But the beauty about this path is that once you answer the calling that you want to become the best version of yourself, that you want to grow and help other people grow and provide value to other people and provide service to other people, it is impossible to go back to your old life. Like, I am telling you, there's been moments in my life where I've said, you know what, I think being a normal person is not that bad, like I could just stop worrying about self-development, and I could just start worrying about becoming a better version of myself, and I could just like kind of like chill and be on cruise. It has felt so unfulfilling whenever I have had those thoughts. And it's only happened in moments where like things got really hard. And I was like, you know what? Like, I should just focus on not even worrying about this. And maybe it's actually a good idea to start drinking again. And maybe I should just start socially drinking again. And when I've had those thoughts, something inside of me, what I like to call my higher self, reminds me of how unfulfilled I've been when I've been in that part of my journey. Because even though in retrospect, you might think, well, life is actually, really hard, and I don't want to really make it harder. If you think about it from now, how your life is, chances are that you're probably not exactly where you want to be. So I would beg to differ, and I would prefer to work hard on the goal that I have, even if I never fully feel like the goal is achieved, if you want to see it that way. I know that I'm working toward that goal versus staying stagnant in one point of my life forever and never really going to the next point in my life. Personally, I have seen how this has changed me, how this has shifted me, and I hope that this is something that you can implement in your life that can really also help you change your entire perspective. Now, the last thing I'm going to share with you is actually fear. So I talked a little bit about this. When you have uncertainty, right, which is the indecision, then you mix your doubts, it is going to create fear. Fear, because we have 6 major worries, which he calls them ghost of fear, but it's going to be poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. And why is that important? Because a lot of us don't realize that we are actually creating a self-fulfilling prophecy within us. There has been evidence that has shown that when you tell somebody, hey, what's going on? You actually look really sick right now. Or are you okay? If they don't know that you're actually just like playing a joke on them and trying to test that, again, this confirmation bias is a real thing, they will actually believe you. And they'll say, you know what? Yeah, like I've actually been feeling a little sick lately. Yeah, I don't know what's really going on. This is so crazy because this just shows you that we are willing to accept a lot of the things that people tell us. So if somebody tells you, hey, there's no reason for you to try to become the first millionaire of your family because look around you. Nobody else has done it. Why would you be the exception? And you believe that, you create that reality. The only difference between when I was making $16,000 an entire year as a single mom, having to pay my rent, having to pay my car, having to pay the diapers, having to pay all these things, and now as I've been blessed to grow in my journey and have the things that I was sharing with you at the beginning of the video, the only thing that I can really sit here and tell you is that I changed my mindset. And when I changed my mindset and I decided that I was worthy, I decided that I could do the things, I started learning from other people that actually showed me and taught me how these people that are not where they want to be in terms of their dreams are simply going to reflect their own insecurities onto you. It's like if you're my kid and I never went to college and I tell you, you know what? College is a waste of money. You should not do it. It is not worth it. Don't even think about it. Chances are that is going to, if you're not aware of it, it is going to actually subconsciously program you to believe that it's not actually valuable. Now, I have my own thoughts about college, which for me personally, I do believe that if you're trying to go and become like, a physicist, an engineer, a doctor, an attorney, an astronaut, like things of this caliber, I do believe you should go to college. However, if you're trying to actually like teach people how to do things, I think that nowadays you can learn how to actually share like what I'm doing right now, your knowledge online, and people are willing to actually watch you. And this is how you can eventually become a coach. You can eventually become a teacher. You can have a digital product that you're selling, and you didn't have to go and spend all this money to become the thing that you wanted to do, which was teach people and inspire people. So I have my own perspective about that, but I do believe that we should be very conscious of what it is that we're choosing to accept. Our subconscious doesn't know the difference between what is real and what is fake. I just want you to really let that sit. Your subconscious does not know the difference. So if it doesn't know the difference, that means that you could be telling yourself, well, I'm just so unhappy. Things are always happening to me. Life is so unfair. And because your subconscious doesn't know the difference, it believes that you're living in that reality. And what it does is it actually releases a chemical in your body, just like when you're sad and you start crying. It releases, it's not endorphins. I can't remember the name right now, but endorphins is when you're happy, but it is basically releasing this chemical that is actually making your body energy decrease. And look into Dr. Amen's work. He has amazing research geared around how our thoughts really do influence our reality. Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. But again, you need to become so conscious of the story that you're telling yourself to really change the entire perspective that you hold of yourself. And this is what's going to allow you to really break into that next level you, the level of you that is already having everything that you're looking to manifest, that already has the house, the car, the kids, the wife, the husband, whatever it is that you're looking to manifest, I am telling you, it is 100% possible. And one of the things that I also want to really share with you is that when you're in this journey and you're trying to really break free from the matrix, break free from the patterns that you hold, you're going to be tested. You're going to have people that are going to call you out of the blue and say, hey, girl, let's go and hang out. Let's go party. You're going to have that ex-boyfriend that's going to come around and it's going to try to hold you into that energy that you broke free from at one point. You're going to have things that are going to really come into your life to really see if you're about this new reality that you talk so much about. And you just have to be prepared for that, because a lot of people don't talk about it and they actually end up falling in the same cycle over and over again. And this is the reason why when they were when they were just about to manifest the life that they were looking to manifest, they self-sabotage. They self-sabotage it because they don't realize that subconsciously they chose the same thing that led them to the same outcome. And you cannot change the output without changing the input. So I hope this video was helpful. I will be making more vlog videos like this to really just share with you again the insights that I have used in my journey. And if there's anything in particular that you want to talk about, more questions about how I got into real estate, how I started my first Airbnb, vlogs on like how it is like living as a mom with like 2 boys and an entrepreneur and a business owner and all the things, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to drop them down below. I do read the comments. So with that being said, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.